Yes, ma'am, we are live now. We can start, ma'am.
All right, perfect. Good evening, everyone. I am Neeta Bhalla, educationist by profession and writer by choice. I had been lucky enough to participate in a lot of events like as a motivational speaker or as a speaker with SDGs, even and latest is the World Peace Summit 23. Uh, Today's topic, which will be taking, is constructivism, which is I will not say it's a new approach, but yes, it is a progressive approach. I'll begin with a quote of Roger Levin. Too often we give children answers to remember rather than problems to solve. It's an approach to learning that holds the people that actively construct or make their own knowledge. And that reality is determined by the experience of the learner. I'm quoting Eliot here. The term refers to the idea that learners construct knowledge for themselves, each learner individually, because here we are catering to the three kinds of learner under the WAC model, which have their different needs. So this is very important that have the focus on the learners, that we have what they are thinking, not on the particular subject or the topic, but with a broader vision. There is no knowledge independent of the meaning attributed to experience by the learners or the community of learners. Constructivism theorists, what they believe is that learner is a constructor of his or her own knowledge. They believe that individuals actively construct mental models based on prior knowledge and they are building on their own experience. This approach has become very important because the entire shift in the paradigm, I will quote here COVID scene, but before that also, if you see, when we are talking, our vision is to make our learners as progressive learners so that they can face the challenges of the dynamically changing world. This approach not only enables the teachers effectively cater to the needs of 21st century learners, but also assists them as to become an effective and independent learners. Social constructivism is shown in teachers the respect of children's need to build on their own experiences and answer their own questions. Anyways, we have to teach them to build up on what they want. Benefits, of course, this is active young minds on task and collaboration. It is not one-way learning these days. This approach has actually changed the setup of the classrooms. Benefit the learners in future where they can have an open-ended platform where they can think of more and even go beyond the books and the classroom teaching. If we compare a traditional classroom with a constructive classroom, we know that this is, a teacher-based classroom is there in a traditional classroom where it is learner-centric. More opportunities are given to the students to experiment and build on their learning. Curriculum is more towards the basic skills, but here we are talking about the 21st century skills in which we are working on the SMART goals which we decide for the students. Assessment pattern is totally different. We are not only barging on the small assessment, a typical assessment pattern, PTs and the tests and everything. Here we are taking into consideration the small little activity which the student is doing in the class. It's an insert, and here It is rhythmic, ever changing with our experiences. I'll just add up a point with the advantages more here, because this method is effective for the students who learn better in hands-on environment. As I quoted earlier, we consider the WAC model, which will help the student to better relate to the information learned in the classrooms on their lives. The constructivism curriculum also caters to the students' previous knowledge, encourages teachers to spend more time with the students' favorite topics, and allows teachers to focus on important and relevant information. And we leave a lot of room for the students to research and find their own learning and their own objectives. Of course, comes with some kind of disadvantages, because it becomes more of the student centric, so which might deviate from the objectives of the lesson plan. So the teacher has to be very smart to understand where to check the students, where to control the class, and take the entire control in the hand. Yes, of course, she is keeping the objectives which has been decided for a particular class. This also, somewhere eliminates the standardization of the testing and the grades of the students. But yes, of course, we can count on the advantages more. Coming to the principles, knowledge is constructed. New learning is based on the past experience. Active process, because we are not giving them, we are training them. That is more important, that how they can find out what they want to learn and how they want to learn. And of course, the learning is contextual and knowledge is personal. Main focus is on the 5 E's of the constructivism, which are engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. There are many examples which are subject related examples, which I would like to quote. Suppose we are talking about 5E model for mathematics. A unit or rational numbers coming from the mathematical and real world situation could include converging between standard decimal notation and scientific notation. How we are engaging the students. Students are given cards with rational numbers and asked, where do you think the number should go on a number line? Do you think it could be placed on more than one places? Coming to the explore part. Students use cards in order to match and compare the rational numbers. Coming to the explanation part, related to this topic of mathematics, the teacher provides examples of time. People may use scientific notations. Students practice organizing cards using what they know about the scientific notation. There's a process of integration here with other subjects and even with the life skills, which is a very important part of our curriculum. Extended, how the learning is extended. The students try out their new understanding with the rational numbers, and the evaluation part comes create a visual representation to organize and display the relationship between set and subset of numbers. Teachers can use to evaluate how well the students can scientifically notation and the convert numbers to standard decimal notation. So these things are very important in day-to-day learning, because that makes the learning interesting. I'll give a small example with the social studies. Engage in, people take a poll, ask criteria, what would they like in representative government? Students explore different forms of representative governments, including direct democracy, representative democracy, presidential democracy, parliamentary democracy, authoritarian, social. Define the terms and determine which representative government best fit in the criteria of the poll. Students apply what they have learned about the representative government to the real world examples. And they can evaluate on the basis of, again, the poll adjust their criteria, and fashion a new form of representative government. Wonderful examples can be taken in subjects like English, where we can design a blurb, where we can, in that particular piece of content which is to be taught, can be through a role play. It can be done through different kind of transition words. So this is the way how the students or a video or something can be shown. Now, I have shown a video in a science class, suppose. The objective of the lesson should be kept in mind when we are deciding on the teaching aids, which I mean by the any kind of video or a blog or anything. Because if my teaching aid is not matching the objective, then the entire effort goes for a toss. Because ultimately, at the end of the class, the objective or the goal set by the teacher has to be achieved. These are just separate different kind of examples which I cited through different subjects, which helps the students to learn more, and they can explore the world in different ways. Why are we only dependent on a research project in science? Why can't we do as a role play in younger classes? Why can't we change the end of the story? Now, there's a story of Cinderella. We all know. Now, I give a challenge to my students, decide another end for your story. For the story of Cinderella, they will, believe me, they'll be so creative and they'll be coming up with lot many ideas, which will be really great to know that how well we have trained our students. We have lot of approach, lot of areas to experiment when it comes to science, because of course we have no limit of cost of software, and with the technology around, the students have everything just a tinkle away. So this approach, they are not dependent on the teachers. So this approach of constructivism, if used in the classrooms effectively, will help the teacher to become a facilitator, a guide, because they have the information all on internet. So their understanding is to be guided in a very well constructive manner, in a very positive way, so that we are not only teaching them, we are making them a complete personality, a social and a good human being. That is also very important from the part of the teacher. More you engage them, more they are exploring the world. They have a lot of ideas. Believe me, small little children, when you take them for a field trip to garage, when you are talking about communication, we take them to newspaper office. When we are talking about means of transport, we are taking them to garage. The kind of questions these students ask these days leaves everybody amazed. That, okay, this can be the thought process. They even talk about alignment of the wheels. Grade 1 student talking about alignment of the wheels is something important. So this is how the students have got an ocean of knowledge. Only thing is that the teacher, how good is he or she in guiding them? What is the growth mindset of the teacher? Because if the teacher is not aware of the new cartoons or the new technology or even the new kind of games in the society, he will never or she will never be able to match up with the mindset of the students, because their learning is far beyond than a teacher. So the teacher has to have a great knowledge, and he should keep themselves updating. If we are not aware what is happening around us, we are not aware that what kind of questions a student can ask and how I'm going to deal with these questions, the entire objective of a good, happy classroom will get lost. I'll quickly recap the entire content with a small video taken from YouTube.
That's really a wonderful presentation, ma'am. Thank you for joining us today, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Good